personifies all the aspects concerning what people expect from a good tour guide.
Were there comments as well? Comments on individual tour guides as well as the rating?
You mean like if other people rated others?
No, I'm thinking, did somebody say Randy because he was so...
Yes.
Did anybody respond negatively to him?
I think there were only a few who said he was a little bit too emotional in the third question, but mostly people put Randy because he was enthusiastic and he was fun and he knew a lot and had insider information. And yes. So what does this have to do with cultural studies? I guess it's kind of clear that a lot of terms come up, as you see. Representation is, of course, a predominant term because, how does a tour guide represent a certain site? How does he or she position him or herself to whatever she or he is presenting? But also, how do we position ourselves to whatever is presented to us and to the tour guide? And authenticity is really important too, and interpolation, as in which position am I being called into when I'm going on this tour. But also minority identity, ethnicity, language, ethnicity. I mean, a lot of different terms come up when you try to bring those two aspects together. Well, so when we developed this project, we found out that there's an interrelation between these aspects, the tour guide, the subject matter, and the audience. And pretty much this graph is supposed to summarize this a little bit, because the tour guide and the subject matter are, of course, in a relation, because, he or she has to position him or herself to it, and so does the audience. But on the same,
I don't know why it's
in the same
there's really the streets
moment,
right next to it.
the audience and the tour guide, of course, are in a relationship as well, because the tour guide has certain assumptions of the audience's attitude, knowledge, but we, as the audience, also have expectations concerning the tour guide, such as we had when we went to the wine plantation owner. We had certain expectations. So this is all kind of really connected. So why did we have the questionnaire? We really wanted to involve the group to see what the perception is, their self-positionings, common trends, and maybe surprises too. And of course, it's all about who am I, how do I position myself. The results, in how far the trends are concerned, there was an approval of showing emotions.
Did anyone cite a tour guide who didn't show emotion?
Yes, Ellen.
As being, and that as a critique.
Yeah.
What about, well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
But that was Ellen. So here we come to Randy and Ellen. So similarities were that people usually felt comfortable with them and also felt sympathy. But differences were that with Randy, some people felt awkward and they expected more factual information. But with Ellen, some people felt bored and wished for more emotions. So the balance is kind of needed here, I guess. Then with the white tour guides and slavery, how they present slavery, there was a clear sign that Mrs. Tanner was perceived rather negatively, whereas with Randy there were more balanced answers. So there were positive and negative perceptions concerning him. That was kind of interesting. And the tour at Frogmore and the tour at the African American Museum, we really found out that the ethnic background, of course, of the tour guide is really important, but also his or her professional background and the intentions, of course, of touring, of giving the tour. But what we found very interesting was that there was a general wish to exchange the tour guides. So to have Miss Tanner at the African American Museum and the African Museum tour guide at the Frogmore plantation. Because a lot of students expected to have this then as a totally new experience. That's what we found.
What do you think would have happened?
I don't know. A lot of people were interested in it. They said it would have been nice to see an exchange. And with Sister Ashton, there were no understanding or appreciative listeners, but mostly distant and annoyed listeners and outsiders. But I think that was something that we expected. The surprises to us as a group were with Sister Ashton that a majority perceived her tears to be real, but a lot of people who perceived them to be real said, oh, unfortunately, yes, the tears are real, or she's high on religion. So, always with a negative side remark. And with Valerie Pape and Mark Twain, and the Mark Twain imitators, tour guides, people mostly said that Valerie Pape is perceived more like a tour guide, but on the other hand, the impersonator was not perceived as much as a tour guide as Valerie Pape was. So it was actually completely...
And what does the no represent under Valerie?
that she's not a
That
tour
she
guide.
wasn't a tour guide.
That she wasn't a tour guide.
Aha. But that's not a negative positive.
Yeah.
It's just a
Yeah.
identification.
So here we still have and yeah, that's us as a group. And thank you for filling out our questionnaire.
Which, did you ask for all of them? I can't remember.
We
I
did
didn't.
ask
About?
all of them. We did not, I think, I don't know if you filled
No,
out
I
the
mean
questionnaire.
all the tour guides, or did you limit
No, we
it
did
to
not. We did not ask about
the Natchez?
the Natchez and the Vicksburg tour guides and we tried to cover most of the other.
So are you planning on developing the project further on these tour guides as well? Just as
I don't know. I don't think so because we don't have them in our questionnaire. So I mean, we can include them and talk about how the three of us in our group feel about it. But I think it's going to be difficult to include everyone again.
Yeah, I wouldn't. No, you could. Would your response differ from the response of the group?
I was pretty much in the main trend with Sister Ashton. At first I thought her tears were real, but the more I thought about it, I thought, no, this was a show. So I was more with the no people. But I felt like an interested listener with her, and there were not a lot of interested listeners.
Do you think we were outsiders at the Natchez African American Museum? Racially, we were.
Racially, we definitely were.
Regionally, we were. Nationally.
But I think a lot of people kind of sided with him, or could feel his intentions, or understand his intentions and his feelings.
Do you think he did the same? Do you think he felt that we were with him?
I
Or
don't know. I think he wanted him to be. He wanted us to be with him.
I think so too.
I don't know. I think we would have to ask.
I think he did position